Get up and breaking news just in. Adam Schefter, what can you tell us?
The Las Vegas Raiders are signing Kirk Cousins to play quarterback out in Vegas, where Fernando Mendoza is expected to be the #1 pick. There's a connection between the Raiders head coach Clint Kubiak and Kirk Cousins. They spent 3 seasons together in Minnesota. They now will be reunited in Las Vegas, and there's a real possibility that the Raiders' opening day starting quarterback will be Kirk Cousins over the #1 potential pick, Fernando Mendoza. But Kirk Cousins, who moved on from Atlanta, who wanted to continue playing, now has reached agreement this morning with the Las Vegas Raiders.
I don't like it. I love it. I've said it a million times. Don't throw these kids out there and put them in a position where they have to be the guy, not only week 1, but starting from the very beginning of training camp. I think this is a great move. And Tim Hasselbeck, I literally had just pointed out, because I saw it while I was in Phoenix with the owners meeting stuff, that Clint Kubiak had said, in a perfect world, Fernando won't be the starter at the very beginning. We'd like to find a veteran who could come in and play. Not 100% sure we'll be able to make that happen. And here they are now, able to make it happen. What do you make of this? Cousins to the Raiders, Tim.
I love it. I love it. I love the history between Kubiak and Kirk Cousins. I love the type of veteran that you're signing for Mendoza to learn from. Cousins will be an absolute pro in terms of how he prepares. Not that Mendoza needs some unbelievable example in terms of that. Seems like he's already off to a good start, but it's a good confirming example for him. It's also a guy that has the battle scars of playing in an offense and some of the things that Mendoza is going to be able to learn from. So I think it's a perfect environment, especially on a team. I said it earlier, it's a brutal gauntlet of quarterbacks to play in that division. It's a brutal gauntlet of defenses to play in that division. And so Mendoza not being thrown to the fire immediately is also not a bad thing for him.
Jordan.
Best thing that could have ever happened to Fernando Mendoza, and he hasn't even stepped foot in an NFL locker room yet. And I mean that. This is an opportunity to learn, to pace yourself without the pressure that goes into being a #1 overall pick on a roster that, frankly, is probably not ready for you to have success with that wide receiver room. I cover the UFL right now. It looks like a UFL roster in that wide receiver room. A lot of names that you're like, oh, I kind of remember that guy. He was okay in college. They need to bolster that. Having a veteran like Kirk Cousins, and even more importantly, a veteran that plays the position the same way that Fernando Mendoza does. Wins between the ears. Good arm, not great arm talent. A guy that can win from the pocket and teach you and help you learn that process before the pressure really amps up.
I think you're 1,000. Think about the situation he's walking into. The 2 guys who can mentor him are Kirk Cousins, who is a pro's pro, and Tom freaking Brady, who is the greatest quarterback of all time and obviously was maniacal in preparation and study and all that kind of stuff. So Mendoza, you don't draft a quarterback #1 because you want to win the Super Bowl this year. You draft a quarterback #1 because you want to be in it for the next 15 years. I don't think it could be starting better. There's no way it could be starting better for Mendoza than this.
And it's also interesting to me, in Atlanta, Kirk Cousins did not choose to work with Michael Penix.
Right.
He was hoisted on him, surprisingly, when the Falcons used the 8th overall pick on Penix. In this particular case, Kirk Cousins is choosing to work with Fernando Mendoza.
Right.
This is somebody that he obviously had an option about whether or not he wanted to work with this young quarterback, and he chose to sign with Las Vegas. He chose to sign on to work with Fernando Mendoza. He did not do that in Atlanta. These are a different set of circumstances, and Kirk Cousins will be a great quarterback for Fernando Mendoza to be around.
Okay, so it's a good story. It doesn't feel like stop the presses, but I think it is significant, particularly with as much interest as there is in Mendoza. There's another quarterback situation I've been wanting to get to here. While I was out in Phoenix the last couple of days, I saw these quotes from Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, in which he was saying, if I could just sort of paraphrase, Deshaun Watson has an excellent chance to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns this year. Deshaun Watson obviously has not played in a very long time for a variety of reasons, up to and including significant injury history here. So, Shefty, what should we be thinking now about Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, 2 first-round picks, and the Cleveland Browns?
Listen, a year ago, Jimmy Haslam was at the owners' meeting saying it was a swing and a miss on Deshaun Watson. Well, guess what? Deshaun Watson is now back in the batter's box, and he's got a real chance to reach base here and win the starting quarterback job for the Cleveland Browns. Because here's a quarterback who tore his Achilles in the 7th game or the 7th week of the 2024 season in October, retore the Achilles and is now trying to overcome those physical challenges to recapture the Browns starting quarterback job. And there's a real possibility he's going to do it. If the owner is saying that he's got a great chance to start, we'll take him at his word. So right now we've got Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, and Dillon Gabriel vying for the Browns starting quarterback job. We do not expect the Browns will draft a quarterback here that has a realistic chance to win the starting quarterback job, though you never know how a rookie quarterback fares. And right now, Watson's got as good a chance as anybody to win that job.
So, Jordan, when we were talking this morning, why is it you think Shedeur Sanders finds himself in a very good spot right now?
Yeah, one term you hear when you're in NFL locker rooms and meeting rooms, the best ability you can have is availability. And that's what Deshaun Watson hasn't been able to provide. The injuries are what they are. Back-to-back season injuring your Achilles twice. Dillon Gabriel as well had the concussion, had a shoulder injury. He hasn't been available, and all Shedeur has done is put his head down, be there when the team needs him. He's had some ups, he's had some downs. I think he's in a perfect position, and he's handling it the right way. He's in the facility. He's around the facility. He wants to have this job be his, and he's going to be an opportunity where he's going to have the best opportunity, I think, to take that job. I think the Deshaun thing, what are we hanging on to with Deshaun? Even before the injury, I think with the fully guaranteed contract that he got, it was kind of, well, he had a window of time with the Texans where he looked like a top 10 quarterback, but it wasn't his entire time there. And now after the catastrophic injuries that he's had, I think we saw the Browns turn the page, and now they're flipping it backwards. I think they need to turn the page to one of these young guys, and right now, to me, that's Shedeur.
Tim, final word.
Yeah, it's been too long for Deshaun. That's what I would say on that. Shedeur found himself in an amazing situation. Sub 500 record, did not, produce at a high level, late round draft pick. To be sitting, just before the draft with the quarterback stable that they have and a chance to be the opening day starter does not happen often. And so it's a remarkable position for Shedeur to be in.
Okay, we'll see where that thing winds up going. A lot of quarterback news on this day. We'll take a short
tape. I just want to say it is really easy to go grab one or two throws and say, oh, this guy's doing this or that. It's harder to find something consistently that pops up for Fernando that you go, this is something I think he needs to fix. So that's the reason he's going to be the number one overall pick. But there are two things I think that consistently come up in film with Fernando. The first is pocket presence, under pressure, leaving the pocket a little bit too early and always kind of exiting to his right. And the other would be mechanics on the move. Here's the pocket presence. He's got a clean pocket here, working through progressions, no reason to panic. Stay there, stay firm. This is that kind of bad habit, always escaping to his right, even when pressure doesn't dictate it. If he stays in the pocket, resets, he's got a guy wide open in the end zone for a touchdown, just panics a little too early, something that pops up again in this Ohio State game. He's got time in the pocket here. Just step up, reset that pocket closer to the offensive lineman. There's a nice little envelope there. And you got a crossing route that comes open on the numbers on the other side. Could have been a big play. His eyes drop a little bit under pressure. When he gets through his reads too quickly, he scrambles. That's something that does show up, not just in Ohio State game, but in a lot of games. Here's the mechanics on the run. Watch this throw, and watch his shoulders and his feet in particular. Watch how he lands on 2 feet here. When he throws on the run, especially to the right, he jumps when he throws. So he loses a lot of his lower body torque, and he also doesn't get that right shoulder through the throw. When you're throwing on the run, because you lose